Hello world! Welcome to another open data exploration using the OpenDataDEx, an app I created that hopefully makes it fun and interesting to navigate and discover data that is out there available for anyone to query and use because it meets linked, open, and semantic web standards. This is a project of the Knowledge Commons, which is an initiative to encourage more communities out there to curate the data that they create, care about, and use. All right, well, so this week's topic is Seattle Mariners players. I grew up in the Puget Sound area and, had great childhood memories of going to see the Mariners at the Kingdome and later Safeco Field. And, rooting for them this year. Hopefully they win the American League pennant. We got really close last year. And so this data that we're going to be exploring is pulled from Wikidata, a pretty amazing open knowledge base that supports and is supported by the Wikimedia Foundation. All right, let's get into it. The app is behind me here. All right, so if you go to OpenDataDEx.com, this is what you'll see. It defaults to an astronomy query to go along with the astronomy theme of the UI. And I have built already a Seattle Mariners query. This exact query is getting sent to this Sparkle endpoint for Wikidata. I'm going to generate that new DEX. There is quite a bit of data. Wikidata is really good for sports team and sports player data, pretty robust. So this is going to return a pretty big data set. I think even reaching our limit of 20,000 triples. So while that's retrieving and generating, let's just go through the features of this real quick. If you click on nodes, you'll get the Wikipedia page and navigate through the DEX. You click on edges and you'll see a tag comparison of the two objects. So let's see, solar system and sun. So, and there it is. There's all of our Mariners players. So just to finish going over features, the tag comparison, you have exact tags, where a tag is a property value pair. You have similar tags where just the property is the same. And then you have unique where, AJ Pollock has a height recorded, but John Olerud does not at all. And we can also, let's see if we navigate through this. We can go to our previous object. We can search for an object. Let's see, Chiro, and then we can return to our hub object. And most importantly, a really good feature is we can increase the number of connections. This will help us get to weirder parts of the DEX, and then we can go all the way to the top connection because these are scored and ordered, and see who's most connected to our focus object. And so, yeah, let's take a look at this. So Justin Turner is our hub object. And yeah, he actually only played for the Seattle Mariners for like half a season. Yeah, he was traded July 29th, 2024. And then by February 20th, 2025, he was signed to the Cubs. So he's maybe not the best player to use as a hub object for the Mariners, but I think the reason he was chosen is because he played on a lot of teams. We see here for Justin Turner, he played on the Mets, Orioles, Blue Jays, Cubs, Red Sox, as well as the Mariners and Dodgers, which is, I think, the team he's most known for. So I think that's why he got chosen as the hub. He just has a lot of reasons for, he has a lot of details that other players can connect to. And then he doesn't have a lot of other crazy details that would differentiate him from a lot of other players. He does have, a couple of these pretty cool awards. But yeah, everything else, all is the properties that are recorded are seem like pretty general, that like most players would have those properties. So that's why it makes sense to me that he is chosen as the hub, even though this is focused on Seattle Mariners players. So yeah, if we were to look at some other players, yep, both played Red Sox and Mariners, both played Mets and Mariners, both drafted by the Cincinnati Reds, played for Mariners, both played for Dodgers and Mariners. And then there's, no other big connection. But let's see something. They both have the start of work period recorded, their place of birth. Both have received an award. So that might be enough to create that connection from Justin Turner to Gaylord Perry. And yeah, we saw that the top connection was with AJ Pollock. They both played for the Dodgers. And something interesting here, they both had COVID. I'm not sure why this is recorded in Wikidata, but because it is, and such kind of a unique, rare property, that probably cements this relationship here. All right, so let's look at more parts of the Dex. I'm seeing one of my favorite Mariners players here, Edgar Martinez. And so when we go to him, we see a lot more recognizable names. And I'm guessing that's because we're going to just see a lot more players now that have won awards and are in like the Hall of Fame. So yeah, let's look at between Edgar and another superstar, arguably bigger superstar, Ken Griffey Jr. And yeah, we see not only are they both in the National Hall of Fame, but in Seattle's Hall of Fame. They both have a Silver Slugger Award. Let's see. They both have different other properties. Unique to Ken Griffey is his father has been recorded. His father, obviously, also a professional baseball player. And then his son, who I think is a football player. Yes. So that's why his son is recorded. Let's see. For Edgar... Oh, he's also a coach for the Mariners. Let's see, what is he? He's currently the Senior Director of Hitting Strategy Coach. Okay, so yeah, so he's also got, he's that coach. He's also different from another known Edgar Martinez. Let's see he's a soccer player, this Edgar Martinez. And he's got his weight and height listed. So I'm surprised Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't have his weight and height listed in here. But yeah, that creates a pretty strong connection. They both have a lot of data. That's great. Another really recognizable name here. We've got Ken Griffey to Randy Johnson. Also, yep, Hall of Famers, Baseball All-Stars. That's enough to connect them. Let's see. Yeah, let's click on Randy Johnson. And let's see, I know this guy is also a pitcher. So if we click on him, we see position played pitcher, and we have both their handedness is recorded. So I'm guessing that's common with pitchers, is their handedness is recorded. And then, yeah, they played on 3 teams together. That's pretty cool. Let's see. And then Randy, yeah, has a lot more data attached to him. And then, yeah, we can compare. They both have their height listed. Randy Johnson's very tall. I think that, part of what made him such a formidable pitcher to face. This is interesting. Randy Johnson and Ichiro are pretty different players, but they have this connection. And, okay, they both played for the Yankees and are in the Hall of Fame. So that was probably enough to connect them. So let's click on Ichiro, and yeah, we can see here because Ichiro has this property of country of citizenship Japan, language spoken Japan, we're seeing a little cluster here of Japanese players. So if we click on him, yep, these probably all have some sort of citizenship, country for sport, language spoken Japanese. So we'll see a lot of that. Let's see. One interesting thing interesting thing I saw for Ken Griffey is that his dad played for the Mariners, and so you would think that they would have a direct connection here. And if we go all the way to 12, still not seeing Ken Griffey Sr. here. But if we were to look for Ken Griffey Sr., there he is. We see that he is connected to Ken Griffey Jr., even though Ken Griffey Jr. was not connected to, didn't have a direct out relationship to Ken Griffey Sr. So I think that's just because Ken Griffey had so much data that there was enough for other players to connect strongly to him. Whereas Ken Griffey Sr., if we look, he doesn't have as much data. And so his connection to Ken Griffey's is going to be a lot stronger, such as they both played for the Reds and Mariners. And they were both born in the same place, Donora. Let's see where Donora is. In Pennsylvania. I did not know that. Let's see. So that's an interesting thing. One glaring omission I'm seeing from, I would have thought with Ken Griffey and Randy Johnson, Edgar Martinez, that we would see is Alex Rodriguez, and I'm not seeing him here. Yep, no matching object. If we just look up Alex, yeah, so why is that? Why aren't we seeing Alex Rodriguez in this result set? It could be that he just, we went over the limit and so he's not included, but it actually is like a way more interesting reason he's not in here. So let's, let's go to a page. Let's see if we go to the schema. So here's his Wikidata entity page, and now we're going to look for Alex Rodriguez here. All right, so Alex, does it say that you played for the Mariners? Yes, it does. Member of sports team, property P54, and Seattle Mariners. So he does meet that requirement. And then this other requirement in the query is that he has occupation baseball player. And if we were to look, I don't know what just happened there. Let's see. Sorry about that. If we were to look here, we have occupation professional baseball player. So that is why he's not showing up in our results. For some reason, someone encoded him with having this occupation that ends in 312, whereas we have occupation baseball player ending in 364. So let's look at that occupation just baseball player, right? So just baseball player versus professional baseball player. I can see why these would be different entities themselves, but when it comes to meeting the property occupation, so yeah, let's hit that one, occupation, this P106, it really doesn't make sense to have both of these as options for occupation, because if your occupation is baseball player, you can kind of just infer that you're a professional baseball player. So I think it is a mistake that someone put Alex Rodriguez with this professional rather than just this regular baseball player occupation. So when we look at the query, we'll get into maybe trying to pull him up, but that is a reason why he's not in this data set, and you would definitely expect him to be. Just to look at a couple other people, I see, Cal Raleigh, he's definitely a superstar right now. Big Dumpers, we're really excited for him for this year. Let's see his connections to Ken Griffey. Let's see, both All-Stars. They both have their debut and final game. Oh, wait, sorry. This is Milton Bradley. I was like, Cal Raleigh doesn't have his final game. Hopefully not. Okay. So they both have Silver Slugger Awards, Gold Glove Awards. They're both All-Stars. So that's pretty awesome. Like, that's what's creating that strong connection there. Let's see if let Julio Rodriguez, recognize him. Let's see with him and Edgar Martinez. Silver Slugger Award. Let's see, I'm surprised I'm not seeing more of a cluster around other Mariners players who are from the Dominican Republic, since that's recorded for Julio. So let's see if any of these players, nope, he's from Mexico. Let's see, Venezuela, okay, here we go. Edwin Encarnacion is also from the Dominican Republic, so let's see if that gives us any sort of cluster here. Let's see where Felix Hernandez is from. He's from Venezuela. Okay, so yeah, not really, but somehow, you know, I'm glad we at least have this connection recorded here that they're both from the Dominican Republic. Okay, well, you know, we could keep going through this data. It's super interesting, but let's focus on the query now, and especially look at that Alex Rodriguez issue. So what I like to do is take this query and put it directly into Wikidata's query service interface, query.wikidata.org. Oh, I didn't copy. And let's, actually we can just leave the limit off. Let's let that run. And the key things in this query, a lot of it you can ignore. It's just getting the right labels that the DEX needs. But the thing we really need is member of sports team, property P54 is Seattle Mariners, and then also has occupation, baseball player. And so that'll give us the entities that are Seattle Mariners players. And yeah, if we search this and look for Alex Rodriguez, yep, we're not seeing him at all in the result page. So if we then change this query to use this professional baseball player entity, so let's change this to that new one, and yep, super fast, and I'm guessing we are gonna see, let's look for Alex in this now. There he is right there, and way fewer results. So yeah, this is not the popular entity to use for occupation, so this is maybe kind of a mistake. Let's build a graph with that. So if we customize this, and anyone watching this can use the editor key Ariadne, please read the notes. Let's change this to, now this is the professional baseball player one. Let's let that generate. Should be pretty fast. And yep, there he is. There's Alex Rodriguez right in the middle, and only 23 players using 347 unique tags. You know, we can look up, and yeah, so that is why Alex Rodriguez did not show up in that other one. What's interesting is Ichiro's here, and we did see Ichiro in that other main DEX. So let's see, let's compare their tags. Both played for the Yankees and Mariners. Both have a Rawlings Gold Glove Award. Both have an MVP award. So yeah, that's a very strong connection there. But yeah, we'll see. Both do have this occupation, professional baseball player, but I am guessing for Ichiro, we're also seeing occupational, just general baseball player, which is why he shows up in both DEXs. So yeah, that's this issue here with it being baseball player versus professional baseball player for occupation. This is an issue, and you know, if you are interested in fixing that, if there's not already a discussion about this started in Wikidata, you could start one. You know, we could add that Alex Rodriguez has this occupation. That would help include him in that other result set. And then, yeah, you can play around with lots of different things. We can put him, you know, choose different choose different teams and different positions and generate new indexes based on that. If you have any questions or comments about making different decks, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. All right, well, I think that's it for today's exploration. I hope you found this as interesting as I did. Please check out the Knowledge Commons if you have any interest in this, and again, any questions, concerns, comments, please reach out to me. This is meant to be a very collaborative project. All right, thanks everyone. Next week we'll explore a different topic.